What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have a ton of great plays to go over in today's episode. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ broke record highs again today. And like I said, we have a ton of great plays for today's video. But before we get started, if you guys want to join the StockedUp Discord, it is completely free. The link for that is in the description down below. Feel free to join. We have around 13,000 other members in the chat. It's completely free. You can network with other people, and it's just a great community. So definitely check it out. But Tom, let's get right into today's video.
Yeah, that QQQ continues up to all-time highs today, hitting 355 in after hours, as we just saw tons of stocks continue their ascent to the upside. We had Apple really kill it today. That really helped out the NASDAQ. AMD with an amazing day. Once again, up to $90, looking pretty good. Ended up closing very strong as well. Nvidia held its ground, came back end of day, ended up hitting all-time highs again. Who knows? This one might keep going tomorrow. Definitely has a lot of potential. And Zoom, Mike, your stock continues to go up, continues to break those highs of yesterday. And we just continue to see these stocks continue to fly while the QQQ is still going up as well. Like I said, hitting 355 in after hours with a very solid move to the upside.
Sounds good. Like you said, Tom, my stock Zoom is popping up. I love the setup. And we've been playing this one for at least a month now, and it's been exploding up, and that's awesome. But a new industry / group of stocks that I really have my eyes on are some of the Chinese stocks that have been beaten down so bad over the past year. BABA is one of them. They're like really bouncing off support, and it looks really solid. JD, PDD, they look like they have a lot of potential. And PDD is running up pretty nicely today. And it's actually a momentum play. Yeah, momentum play for tomorrow. So we'll cover this one more later in the video. But I definitely have my eyes on stocks like BABA, JD, and PDD.
Yeah, for sure. And, there was some good news that came out today. CNBC reports that the 5-year break-even rate is now at 2.45%, while the 10-year rate sits at 2.33%. Apparently, that's indicating that the markets see inflation falling over a longer time frame, per their words. And this also goes with what Powell and the Fed have been saying. And they just said pretty much that it helped give investors even more confidence today. And like I said, we're seeing the QQQ and the SPY at all-time highs. And it's always good to see that inflation rate will start to fall in the longer run. Of course it will, though. It usually ends up falling. But hopefully, like, the markets can just continue this rally because, normally with the SPY, we don't see solid breakouts like this. We've been seeing lots of like flat movement, very small moves to the upside. So hopefully we can see continued movement like we saw early on this morning. At the end of the day, the SPY kind of ended up selling off, towards like 2 p.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. Central. So just keep that in mind. With the market going up, the QQQ is a lot stronger right now, posting those solid breakouts, while the SPY is just still like very slowly moving.
Sounds good. And then I also heard there was a pretty big deal with crypto.com today.
Yeah, crypto.com actually struck a deal with Formula One. CNBC reports it's a $100 million cryptocurrency sponsorship. And you know what? We saw crypto doing pretty well today. Bitcoin was up 5.4%. I'm not sure it's off of this news or not, but either way, Formula One struck a pretty good deal. And I have some pictures here of some of these Formula One cars. I got the Ferrari car pulled up right now. It looks pretty cool, but look at this right here on the hood. They've got AMD and Shell, and then we have the Mercedes car. They've got AMD over here as well. So right there, AMD on the cars. I don't know. It's just pretty interesting, but Formula One's been pretty, I think it's pretty cool. I watch it sometimes, but just overall good news for cryptocurrency overall. Seems like it's just getting more integrated into society, and overall just a great day. Mara and Riot ended up really flying up today, up 5.91% out of Mara, and early on this morning it was up a lot more.
For sure. And you said exactly what I was going to say, and I was going to bring up Mara and Riot. And if we look at Mara, can you give us some levels to watch out for, or like anything like that? Because I know a lot of people trade this one, and it's one of those stocks where when it starts to run, it really likes to run.
Yeah, intraday today, there was definitely a lot of chop right around that $32 area. We're kind of consolidating right along that. I'm not sure if that's going to pose us as a good support or resistance for tomorrow. We're kind of right there. I would expect a pretty good pre-market move out of Mara tomorrow, though. We saw it kind of run up today, pretty nicely. And I would kind of expect for another move tomorrow if Bitcoin can continue up overnight tonight. But looking at Mara, it's hard to predict the support and resistances with it. But going back really far on like a further out 4 hour chart, I see a pretty good resistance coming up right around like 35, maybe 34.75. And then we also just broke out of a key resistance today, right around 32.
Sounds good. Well, let's get right into our member of the day. Today's member of the day is Infoman. Huge shout out, Infoman. He banked with the bot today. He made around $1,000 in 15 minutes with the bot. We can see the bot called out coin 260 calls at around $390, and they ran all the way up to 630. If you guys want to trade with the bot every single day, and Tom and myself, you can click the first link in the description down below. The coupon is expiring this week, so if you want to try it out, definitely try it out sooner rather than later. The coupon is expiring this week, and you'll save about $40 doing that. You can cancel at any time. Daily day trades, swing trades, option signals, order flow, you name it, we probably have it. And of course, it doesn't win every play, but it definitely has been really hot lately, so definitely check it out. But now let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. And with the first one, we have PDD.
Yeah, and you were talking about this one a little earlier being one of those Chinese stocks that is flying up right now, up around 6.97% today. Make them break out above 134 tomorrow.
All right, with the next one, we have my stock, Zoom.
Zoom continuing to fly up today. That end of day resurgence they had was awesome. I would have liked to use yesterday as a key resistance to break out of, but looks like we're going to have to go for 396.
All right, and then with the last one, we have Coin.
Coinbase, another big mover today. This one has a pretty key, like triple top up here intraday, right around 261.15. So definitely make it break out above that level.
Sounds good. Well, let's get right into our $2.5 million trade for this Friday. We are looking at the Clove 14 calls for this Friday, July 2nd. So CLOV, these calls are slightly out of the money, which isn't bad. Clove is making higher lows, which is good. And I know that it had some nice attention from Wall Street bets, which is always a good sign. I like the setup, but it is pretty speculative. So to me, it just looks like a speculative long position, Tom. But, it is pretty far out of the money. So what do you think?
Yeah, it's going to be very risky. Like you said, a high risk, high reward type of setup here with CLOV on the daily. I think it looks pretty decent on the daily. It looks like it could maybe start to continue up for tomorrow, but intraday, it is bouncing off that $13 support, which is nice, but it did end up coming down at the end of the day pretty hard. But I think it does have potential for tomorrow if we can hold this $13 support.
All right, and now let's get right into our comments from the previous episode. And with the first comment, we have Johnny B saying, workhorse $20 by the end of the week. So, this one's holding its ground. It did finish in the green today, which is awesome. Give us some levels, Tom. What are you watching?
Yeah, it has a key double bottom down here, right around 1645, 1650. It actually looks really good off of that support level. If people would have been buying down there for like an intraday trade today, if they would have been buying off that bottom support, it would have posed as a pretty good level to, get a good entry on a workhorse here. But overall, there's that key resistance up there around $18. Definitely make it move above that, I would say, before you get some calls. I think that support, if we hit that again, we'll end up breaking below it. But honestly, it has a lot of momentum right now. And I think workhorse could honestly be a pretty big mover over the next few days. And even looking at the daily chart, it's really starting to break out above some of these SMAs and a lot of these supports.
All right, with the next comment, we have Shelby saying thoughts on, these MJ stocks. So CGC, Tilray, and Hexo. So I was really looking at Tilray. These MJ stocks are really tricky to trade because they'll pop up in the morning, then they'll tank out of nowhere, and then they'll pop up again, and then they'll just sell off. So, they're really hard to trade, honestly. Shares would be the best way to go. They definitely are speculative, but I do like the setup right now. Keep in mind that they are risky, but they do have a ton of potential.
Yeah, and I think for the long run, they're going to start to do a really good, like over the next few years. We're just going to have to give it some time, though. The question is how much can it start to go up here in the shorter term? It is bouncing right around these supports. So hopefully it's just like a small pullback starting to form, and then we'll get more good movement.
All right, with the next comment, we have P saying, any comments on Netflix? I just think it's coming down this week. So, I can see it, but there is so much positive momentum with the S&P right now and tech stocks. So it's like, yes, they might be overbought, which I think they definitely are overbought. But when you have so many tech stocks just flying up and we have the NASDAQ breaking record highs day after day, it's hard for it to fall. So while I do think it is overbought, I would not buy puts on it or I wouldn't short it just because there's so much momentum in the sector overall.
Yeah, I think so as well. And I think we could almost throw Netflix into like an Apple setup, or, maybe like a Microsoft. They're pretty similar to like those two stocks and their movement. And they've been consolidating for like the past couple years, along with like Apple, AMD, and a couple of those other stocks that have just been trading between that range. And hopefully it can start to still go up and, continue to fill this gap and maybe come up to this like 550 resistance up here. But nobody knows in the short term. It's right in the middle of the range, and it can definitely go either way at this point.
All right, and then we have Dan saying, thanks, guys. What do you think about Disney? Looks like it broke out of a flag and retested support. Can you check it out? I love Disney long term, and I picked up a leap. So I also really love Disney for the long term. Notice I said long term. So, it can retest this 170 support. It can even, retest the 160 support. I'm looking at this for over the course of a couple months. So I do like the company. They're a solid company, and I love how they've been adapting, especially with their Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's going to be a big thing for them over the next few years. And, every time they have a good earnings report or something like that, they're always talking about how their Disney Plus is just supposed to, or at least their outlook on Disney Plus is that they're still going to continue to get, millions of more memberships. So just keep that in mind that they should still be growing. But if those numbers end up going bad, then it could obviously make the stock go down in the short term. But like Mike said, it's definitely a longer term outlook here.
All right, and then we have La saying Qualcomm, Tesla, and Mara, baby. All right, let's check them out. QCOM, how's it doing? It's doing really good, actually. It's popping up pretty nicely. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, this one looks really good in the semiconductor sector. Looks like it's starting to recover up very nicely. And, now that we're talking about semiconductor stocks, I wanted to bring up Intel really quick, which has just done terrible today. Had some bad news about delaying a chip once again. And they have a new CEO, which is trying to turn the company around, but they just cannot pick it up. But just had to bring it up once we brought up those semiconductor stocks.
For sure. And then what about Tesla? I know that tech stocks are flying and Tesla's doing good. It's not doing great, but it's hanging in there.
Yeah, it's trying. It's actually holding this 100 SMA, holding right up here around this 700 resistance. It's also right on this blue trend line that I've been looking at for like the past year and a half on Tesla. That is definitely bounced off a lot off of. So honestly, if as long as it keeps holding here, I think we could see a pretty good move. And intraday, you can actually see how much it started holding this blue trend line, kind of bouncing right off of it earlier in the morning. And I have a good feeling that at some point this week, we might see Tesla maybe jump up and maybe move above that 700 resistance. Who knows?
Yeah, and then the last one was Mara. Any last thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, still continuing up good. Bitcoin is on fire. As long as Bitcoin continues up, I think Mara should continue as well. But on a yearly level, I'll say that Mara is definitely a little bit low right now. So I think it's still good for a good like it's good to pick up shares right now or leaps. But in the short term, anything can happen. But it's good to see Bitcoin kind of making these deals with like Formula One and some of these different crypto websites and stuff like that are just getting more like integrated with into society, kind of like a lot of stock companies have been doing.
For sure. And then we have Aka saying, damn, 3,100 to 10 grand on Zoom. You're the man. So, yeah, that Zoom play was awesome in the premium portion of the Stocked Up Discord. We got in the Zoom 290 calls that expire on August 20th on, was that May 13th for around 3,100. And they're just under 11 grand a piece right now. So that play has been awesome and we're still holding it. So it's an amazing setup. If you guys want to trade with Tom and I every single day, plus our bots, you can click the first link in the description down below. Like I said, the coupon is expiring this week, so definitely check it out. You can cancel at any time. But Tom, do you have any last minute plays or anything you're watching for tomorrow?
I'm still definitely looking at AMD for tomorrow and Apple. They're getting really close to those resistances. AMD actually hit the 90 resistance today and consolidated pretty hard on it. I keep riding AMD every day, but it's moving pretty well and keeps having those very nice runs in the morning, which is nice to see. It could make for some good day trades very early on, like right at market open. If you guys are scalpers, or if you guys like to do quick day trades, AMD is generally a pretty good mover right around open. So definitely look out for that. Also, still watching GLD, having a lot of problems lately, looking like it's going to start really falling off as the dollar starts to continue to rise.
Sounds good. And thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to subscribe. It really helps us out. And then you'll see our videos on your homepage every single day. So definitely don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any questions or any stocks you want us to cover, make sure you let us know in the comments down below. But other than that, thanks for watching.